Hey, welcome to another great episode of the Real Deal Podcast. Happy Sunday. And it is hot. It's a little bit rainy, humid, but I think it's humid and raining and hot everywhere, it seems like. But I'm glad to be back with a new episode of my series, Women in Fantasy Football and Football in General. And I got another great podcast family member, not a guest, podcast family member coming up shortly. So let's get started. Let's go. All right, welcome to another great episode of the Real Deal Podcast. I'm your host, as always, Courtney Harden. Like I said, glad to be back with a new episode of my series, Women in Fantasy Football, where we highlight the incredible women in football, fantasy football, whether they're content creators, podcasters, analysts, broadcasters, anything to do with football, just highlighting and featuring them. I've done this for the last couple of years, and I got another great guest, podcast family, been on the show multiple times. But before I bring her in, you can follow the show on all of the major podcast platforms, whether it's YouTube, Spotify, Apple. We're on BS3 Network, Roku channel. We're on the BS3 TV, BS3TVLive.com is the website. So follow it there. You can follow all the shows on the network. Just download the app and you can see all the shows there. And you can follow me on all the social media platforms: Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Blue Sky, and TikTok. So the Real Deal with Courtney Harden. Just type that in and you can find all the episodes there. All right, well, let me bring in my wonderful partner, wonderful guest here on the show, Stacy Perez, fantasy football analyst with Fantasy and Frames, player profile, host of the Waiver Wire Show, Sunday Tailgate. I mean, she does a little bit of everything, and also lawyer lady too. So that's part of it as well. So, Stacy, welcome back to the show for the 5th time. Thank you for doing this. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely, Courtney. Thank you so much for having me. I think you had the new intro music and everything last week, but I just want to tell you, like, it sounds so good. Like, I
Oh,
love
thank
it.
you.
So yeah.
Yes. One of the thank you, and then thank you again for coming on. And one of the network, I think their son, he did the intro, and I've been playing it, and I love it. And when they sent that beat, I was like, oh yeah, this fits. So
Yeah, I was like, this sounds great. This is
yeah,
awesome.
thank you. Yes. It's like it really knocks. Like I love doing it, love using it and everything too. So I appreciate that. And but how's everything going with you? I'm glad to have you on before the fantasy season in full swing. Now we're just doing all the drafts and preparation and things like that. But how's everything else going? And how's your summer going so far?
Summer's going really well so far. Just kind of getting into the really heat of that off season.
Mhm.
I've got 2 drafts coming up this week. And then before we know it, it's going to be expo time, and then
Yep.
we're going to be down, I'm going to be in Vegas this year doing a draft. So I am really excited, and it's, like, it's here. It's finally here. We're just a few days away, a few weeks away from Sunday football,
Yep.
and I can't wait. I cannot
Yeah,
wait.
I know you can. I can't wait either. And looking forward to the season. We're excited. Yes, at football in general, fantasy
Mhm.
football wise, and football in general. But I got to give a shout out to Tootsie Pop herself, Rachel, who was on the show yesterday. I had a great conversation with her.
Yep.
Follow her as well. Unwind, and she got a lot of big things happening as well.
No.
So check it out. I know she was teasing a little bit about the expo. So she's gonna have some announcements coming up. She said in the
That's
next
what
week.
I've
So
heard.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So she's
part
doing
of
big
that.
things. So shout out to Spot Rachel and thank you for always being a loyal listener as well. But I'm glad that like you said, it's getting busy and
Mhm.
and we're just excited drafts, and we just had they got the Scott Fish Bowl has happening. I just finished my live. I got to
Me
finish
too.
my slow draft that we just did. That's one of
Yep.
those slow
Oh,
burn drafts.
mine took almost 2 weeks to finish, yeah.
Yep. I mean, literally just finished today. Actually, I did my last pick yesterday, but
Nice.
there was like four more, and they was still like I said, all right, let's get it going. You know, it's a slow draft, so it's always
Yeah.
good to. I was let's see, but so I'm looking at my team now. I was like, okay, all right, I'll post it on Twitter a little later on. But yeah, you said you got a couple of drafts coming up. You got the
Mhm.
Expo. I
Yep.
won't be present at the Expo this year. Again, going to Hawaii in about a month.
Oh,
So yes,
suffering, really.
yes,
Canton, Ohio, or Hawaii. I don't
yeah,
know.
you gotta
That's
weigh
tough.
it, yeah, it's like, but yeah, so yeah, it's our me and my wife's anniversary, 20-year anniversary, and we're celebrating that. So I won't be doing that, but that's right before the season starts, end of the month of August. So that's a good thing too. But
Yep.
we gotta celebrate that. But yeah, so it would have been nice to see you again in person, but I'm sure it'll happen again. We'll
It
see each other
will.
in person,
It
and
definitely will.
Yep. So you're going to Vegas and doing some drafts
Yep.
there. Is that the one Kelly's doing? Kelly?
No, so I'm so bummed. I'm gonna miss that this year. So I'm gonna be in Louisville for the Kentucky high stakes tournament there.
Oh, okay.
I go to that every year,
Yeah.
and
I remember you
it
telling
just
me about
happens
that.
to fall in the same weekend as Kelly's event with the FFWC with the women's tournament there. So I don't know. I'm gonna have to make it work some year because I've been trying to get
Yeah.
to that for 3 years now, and I haven't been able to. And actually, just had Kelly on our show on
Yeah.
Thursday, and she was sharing about like what a cool tournament they've got, all the really like great weekend things that they've got planned
Yeah.
there. And I've got the FOMO so hard, Courtney. So
Yeah.
maybe next year I'll get out to Kelly's event. I hope so. I hope I get to do it one day because it sounds amazing.
Yeah. And then it seems like they added some more things. I had yeah, I saw Kelly. She talked about it and everything too. And I had Sam Holt on a couple
Hmm.
of days ago. Actually, I've been doing shows almost every day, and I had her on, and she was talking about that.
Yeah.
She's gonna be out there. She said, "Yes, I think it's gonna be a 3-day event or something like
Yeah.
that. They extended it. There's gonna have like a Radio Row
Hmm.
thing. That's because Women of Fantasy Football. Shout out to them as well, and they set it up where they're gonna, like I said, they've extended it, so it looks like it's gonna be drafts, it's gonna be
Yeah.
panels this time,
Yep.
and
I
everything. So
think they
yeah,
got like a poolside concert going
yeah,
on too, where you can
concert,
be in
yeah,
like a
right.
cabana.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I'm sure they're gonna have a lot of video and a lot of
Yeah.
content out there. So yeah, so shout out to the women of fantasy football and
Absolutely.
Kelly and Phoenix and Kelly Singh and
Yep.
Sam Holt and everybody that's participating in that. It's gonna look like it's gonna be a very incredible event there as well. So, but you said you got a high stakes. You told me
Mhm.
about this high stakes draft that you do every year
Yep.
and everything too. So, talk a little bit about how you prepare for something that is like a high stakes draft.
Yeah. So, so that's actually how I've been playing fantasy for years, but I
Hmm.
got started doing high stakes about 6 years ago.
Yeah,
And a cousin of mine, Farrell Elliott, runs the Kentucky State Fantasy Football Championship in Louisville, and so that was my first like exposure to high stakes. And I went and I kind of like realized I was like, This is my tribe. Like these are my people. Like they
your
want
peoples.
fantasy
Yeah.
just as much as I do, and it's a lot different than playing with just like friends, every year. Like if you're looking to kind of like elevate your game fantasy wise, if you want to draft with really sharp drafters that know their stuff, that like aren't just taking, a guy in the first round just because they're like, I'll say me like a Bucks fan. Like
Right.
I have a league and I love those girls so much, but we're getting Baker Mayfield going in the first, and it's like, all right, come on
Yeah.
now, you know.
Right. Yep.
But if you're looking to do that, like I would definitely recommend high stakes for anybody. And Kelly and I were talking about this on Thursday. Like I want to see more women getting into high stakes fantasy football because I go to these
Yeah.
events and I've been going for a long time, and I can count on my hand the number of women I see at these things
Yeah.
that are there drafting, that are there, to draft their teams and stuff, even if it's like with their husbands or boyfriends too. Like I want to see more women getting out and doing it because it is such a good time. And I know there are so many great, sharp women drafters that I want to see them come on over into the high stakes streets
Yeah.
and get in there with us. But as far as like preparing for that, I mean, I think it's like I've been drafting since February. I was drafting Super Bowl weekend.
Yeah.
So those guys don't mess around. They are the true degenerates, right? So they're out there, they're drafting, Super Bowl Sunday and on. And so, it's just a lot of keeping up with the news, keeping up with what's
Mhm.
going on the teams, knowing the players, knowing, where the moves are, that kind of stuff, and just making sure we're really well informed. And then also doing some drafts. And this might be a little bit of a hot take, Courtney.
Uh-oh.
I hate mock drafts. I hate them with a passion.
So
Um,
many of them, is that why
well, no,
really?
I'll tell you why. Because so like if you're wanting to get in like like a league, a tournament with like I said, a high stakes, there's a little bit more on the line, right?
Yep.
Like you want to prep for that. And so mock drafts for me, I don't think that they prepare you as well
Mm.
because it's a
Mhm.
mock draft, right? You don't have skin in the game at that
Right,
point, right? You're
right.
just doing it just for funsies. So, go online, do a $20, $30 draft, throw some money, go and do an underdog for $5.
Yeah.
But like keep it up, get in there all throughout the off season, know what the ADP looks like, play around with your different builds,
Yep.
know where guys are going, and how you can build your team based on what draft spot you get. And I think that's the really most important thing about doing those high stakes tournaments is you can't go in cold. If you haven't drafted all year and you show up, at the end of
Mm.
August and you're drafting your first team, I mean, thanks for your donation at that point.
Yeah.
Like you need to be prepared for that. And that's why I
Yeah.
think those are the best way to prepare. So, sorry to anybody who loves mock drafts out there. I just
No, nothing
can't
wrong with that.
stand them.
And we all and we all prepare differently. And some
Yeah.
people love mock drafts, and
Hmm.
I feel like there's a lot and there's too many. And then I agree. And I think when you start watching, when you start, it's all good to participate in them. I think
Yeah.
there's nothing wrong with that. But I agree with you to the point where when you see so many mock drafts
Mhm.
and you get kind of confused, and you can put all your scoring systems in and things like
Yeah.
that, but you get confused. It's like, well, why did this person pick this at the 109? But
Right.
there's all these different, yeah, there's always gonna be different. It depends on how your draft goes
Or
too.
they're
But
just messing around,
yeah,
just
mess around.
like
Yep.
that they can, like, oh, let me see this because it's a mock draft. So it really doesn't matter.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
and
yeah,
that's why I don't think it prepares you as well. Like if that's the
yeah,
purpose, if that's why you're doing it,
yeah,
um,
right,
I would suggest maybe something else. But
yeah.
they're good for something. They're just for me for preparation wise. That's not my first thing that I'm going to.
Right, right. That's yes, and I think too, when you do mock drafts, you said you just said it's a lot of just random people in there, and then you said they're just, oh, I'm going to pick this player in the first round, and we're thinking, okay, that they could have got that player in probably the fifth round or the
Oh
sixth round.
yeah,
Like I said, if it's a player you want and you want to get them in the early round, so be it. But like you said, thank you for your donation, especially if it's a high stakes.
yeah,
You might want to be more prepared than just using mock drafts at a high
right.
stakes draft. Anything on the, I mean, he said it's all we talked about. I was talking about this with Rachel yesterday. We were saying how, yes, it's all in fun. That
Mhm.
fantasy football, fantasy sports is fun, so it's
Yeah,
supposed to be fun.
it
But
is.
you do have those high stakes where it is serious too, and you have money
Mhm.
involved.
Yep.
You still want to have fun, but you're like, I'm coming, like you said, you're preparing since
You're coming
February.
you're coming ready.
You come with a plan,
All
and
the other
yeah,
11 people at that table are gonna
yep,
be ready. So
yeah,
you better
yeah.
be ready too, or else you're just gonna get smacked around in that draft, and that's
Yeah,
not
yeah. You're gonna get swallowed up quickly, and
yeah.
your season's over by like week 8 or 9, and you're
Yeah,
thinking, well, why am I 0-9? Well, I mean, I know that's only part of it. The draft is only part of that.
yeah.
But you gotta pay attention to
You do.
and really prepare, especially those high
Mhm.
stakes. But well,
Yep.
hopefully you, like you said, you can get more women, because there's so many women that are
Oh,
doing
yeah.
really big things
Yep.
within there. And I said, Kelly, again, shout out to her. She did that excellent article for SI a
Mhm.
couple of days ago or yesterday, yeah, 2 days ago, and I read it. That was excellent, just highlighting
Yeah.
women of fantasy football, and like I said, what she's getting ready to do
Mhm.
in Vegas and everything too. But it's just seeing the growth just over
Yeah.
just even the last few
Oh,
years
yeah.
of so many incredible women that I've come across and
Oh, yeah.
been on even been on the show or just talk with.
Mhm.
It's incredible to see.
It really is, and, like, so we at Fantasy and Frames, this is our 2nd year doing we do a women's basketball tournament in March,
Yep.
Women's
Yep.
History Month, and so you're like, "March? Where are you drafted in March?" Well, the people that love fantasy football, we're drafted in March, but
Yeah.
the first year we did it, we had 3 divisions, so 3 divisions of 12, so 36 women, right? This year, we had 5 divisions go, and I feel pretty confident that we can, like, keep upping that number every year, so just to
Yeah.
see how, like, that grew. And then, so you're talking, like 60 women drafting in March, before the draft has even taken place. Right.
Right. Right.
So the women are out there. I mean, Kelly's article listed how many numbers, I forgot how many it was, like many millions of women that are,
Yep.
out there playing fantasy. So, they're out there. We just, come on in, ladies. Like, let's
Yeah.
know each other.
Yes, yes, and then it's such a great community too, with so many sharp minds and talented, and just I like I said, I've met so many in person
Mhm.
or just interviewing or connecting with on social media,
Yeah.
and it keeps in the growth. It's amazing to see so many, and like you said, you women watch football. It's just like it's just in general, like it's just love football in
Yeah.
general, and then and he said, why not? If you can join a league or two, it could
Mhm.
be, it could be, you said best ball, it could be any type of, there's so many different leagues you can get in. You can even get into a beginner,
Mhm.
no matter if you're a beginner or an analyst or even have played so many years.
Yeah.
You guys are so welcoming to other women, and that's like I said, it's amazing it's amazing to see that growth for real.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. So, but he said Fantasy and Frames
Mhm.
is still doing well,
Yep.
and everything too. I've been watching and seeing you killing it over there too. And talk about what's been coming up, what's upcoming for Fantasy and Frames.
Yeah, so right now, in the off season, we do waivers in season, and then we do the
Yeah,
draft show off season. And so right now we're in the draft show era of the year, and so our kind of goal with that show is to bring um, all the information about different ways and different formats and different platforms that you can play fantasy on to our viewers. And so we do a dynasty show, we do a best ball, we do some redraft, we do, we just did a high stakes show where we had some people on to talk about, the high stakes format. And so there's so many ways to play out there. And
yeah.
that was kind of what we wanted to do, is to get in there, do drafts on different platforms, do the different drafts of the different, like do a best ball, do a high stakes, do a redraft, do a, talk about our dynasty teams, like all that
Mm,
stuff. And just kind of, and bring experts on too in those fields to really like talk about and share with people some, intro to those kind of dynasties, get people exposed to that. So that's what we do during the off season. We will be doing that up until late August, right before the season starts. And then we're going to switch on over to the waiver show. And this year we're doing it a little bit different. I'm really excited about how we're going to handle the waiver show this year. We're going to be doing it on Monday nights at 8 o'clock. And I mean, Courtney, what goes on Monday nights during the
yeah,
football season?
yeah, the game.
Monday Night Football.
Monday
So
Night Football, right?
are going to be making it a Monday Night Football watch party.
Okay.
We're going to be bringing in waiver information during the show, during commercials, that kind of thing. We are going to be hanging out. People are going to be jumping in and out. We're going to be watching the game, talking about that, talking about what happened on Sunday. It's just going to be a really fun vibe. We're going to be starting at 8, going up until halftime. And so that's what you can kind of look out for from Fantasy and Frames, from our show during the season. So get ready for that. I want to say that's September 8th. I think we go live that night.
Okay, yeah, yeah, that just it's coming up like real soon, like just
Right?
over a month. It's
You're telling me.
crazy. Yeah, yeah, it's crazy. And the thing is, like, you guys are doing like almost like a mini cast type of it's
Yeah.
almost like the mini cast
I
in
mean, we're,
Fantasy and Frames.
not as cool, or probably not as funny as the mayonnaise,
I
but
don't know. It might be.
it's fun.
It
Yeah.
could be. But you guys are doing it, like you said, like a waiver wire, and you talk
Yeah.
about the games from Sunday
Yep.
and the watch party, and
Exactly.
also helping fantasy owners,
Mhm.
really managers, really, and because you said you gotta pay attention to the waiver wire too, because
Yep.
just the draft is just only part of it, and that's gonna be one of my questions I want to ask you about, what makes a good fantasy football manager. So I
Yeah.
can't wait to hear that as well. But yeah, it's I'm looking forward to seeing what's in store for Fantasy and Friends. You have a fan in me with that show, which I really like the crew and everything too. So looking forward to that. Let's talk a little bit about, actually, before I wanted to ask you, you were just in Bucks training camp. I saw
Right.
I saw excited you were, and the big
Yes.
smile there, and that hot weather, I'm sure, as we
Oh
talked
my
about.
gosh. Yeah. It was 91 degrees
Woo.
at 8 a.m.
Oh, jeez. Early in the
Yeah.
morning and 8 a.m. And
Yeah.
I know, like, when you leading up to it and getting there, you're like, oh, here we go. We're
Oh yeah.
outside. It's football season. And but how exciting was that to get to Bucks training camp and see just the vibe of the team of what you saw when you
Yeah.
were there?
Yeah, so this is my second year going to training camp. It was just a lot of fun. I kind of learned how to navigate it last year. So I kind of knew, okay, here's when I need to get there. Here's what I need to bring. Got my little,
Mhm.
you guys can make fun of me all you want. I got my little clip-on fan, to like keep the, breeze going. But yeah, getting there and getting to watch, the guys work out. And I was there the first day that it was open to the public. So, I
Yeah.
mean, it's not like you can, go out there. I, hope nobody was expecting me to be like, oh, it's definitely Bucky season, forget
Mhm.
about Rashad White because it's the first day of camp that's open to the public.
Yeah.
Come on. But it was still good to see those guys out there working out. Like everybody seemed like they were happy to be there. I saw a great catch by Emeka Ibuka, who I mean, now with like the Godwin news about that second procedure, on his knee,
Yeah.
I hope that you drafted Emeka Ibuka earlier because he's about to just skyrocket
Yep.
in
Yep.
drafts. I'm sure people have already been seeing that over the last week when
Mhm.
that news broke. But he made a catch and it looked great. And I get it, right? It's training camp. But still just to see him, we're out there working out with Baker and out there with the ones doing, their drills and whatnot. Like it
Yep.
was really good, really exciting. I got to ask him a question at the combine. And he was just so, pleasant and just great with his answer. And it just kind of made me an even bigger fan of his. So I was really excited when he landed here in Tampa. So I was really, really looking forward to getting to see him play. But it's just so fun. Like you go and everybody's excited to be there and
Yep. Mhm.
the fans are excited, and it was kind of cool, like, because you're sitting in the stands for a while because you get there like an hour before
Yep.
they all take the field, and then the first part, the first maybe like 20 minutes, they're all stretching and stuff. So you got a long time to just kind of sit and wait, and just hearing everybody and how excited they were, and everybody talking about the team and the players and everything. It's just fun, and it's just like just a reminder that football is such a popular sport and
Yes.
everybody was so excited for the season. So it was just nice to be around, the football talk and kind of just getting out there and getting outside and, touching some grass and hearing from some just like, fans.
Yep, yep, and we're always anticipating when the football season starts. Like we're so excited. Like when we hear any news before the season starts, like, oh yes, we can't wait, and
Yeah.
everything too. And I didn't get a chance to go to Eagles camp yet, but they got an open practice. They got two open. I think they got one open practice, I
Okay.
believe, in a couple of weeks. So I'll probably be there as well. So looking forward to that. I think it's in 2 weeks. So I'll definitely gonna try to make it out there. But just watching the news and seeing just them out there, it seems like they're about their business too. Again, they're looking forward to
Mhm.
like, okay, but it's just like you said, seeing fans, listening to fans and just get excited just for the season in
Right.
itself. But yeah, I saw it when you said up at first day of camp. I'm here.
Mhm.
I'm here.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah. So that's exciting news. They say driving up to the camp
Mhm.
and like you say, Lily, you had some really good like almost like right in the front, almost it seemed
Yeah.
like you were right there.
They do it well. They do I mean, I've never been to training camp elsewhere besides the Bucks, so I don't know, but from what I can tell, I mean, like, they do a great job with it. Everybody
Yeah,
there is so welcoming. They've got the whole team. They got those they don't call them the swashbucklers anymore, it's the Bucks cheerleaders. Back in the day when we were
yeah.
creamsicle, they used to call them the swashbucklers. But,
Right.
they got the mascot out there, they got food trucks,
Right.
they're so good to the fans too. Like, they, had so many little giveaways and, like waters for everybody, keeping everybody hydrated and
Yep.
and everybody's just so happy. Like you get there and, even the people, scanning your tickets were, like, go Bucks. And it's
Yep.
just,
Yep.
it's just such a really nice fun. And I mean, I'm a Packer fan too. I mean, I cheer for the Bucks because I live here. I live in
Yeah.
Tampa. It's good for the city when they do well.
Yep.
And then I am first and foremost a Packers fan, but it was so hard to not be excited about, like being there for the Bucks and for the team.
Yeah, yeah. Like you said, when you live somewhere, even if you're not a fan of that team, just going there because, like I said, with here, I'm not a Sixers fan, but when they are good,
Yep.
or anything in the Phillies or whoever, it's
Yep.
it's good to um it's good to be around. It's like, yeah, it's just especially when you live somewhere for so many years, you
Yep.
kind of become let me say a fan, but you become like one of like a fan in a
Yeah.
way. And then when you're around it, it's like, wow, this, yes, it is good for this. Like you said, when a team is good, it's good.
Mhm.
It's really good for the city. And
Yeah.
so, so yeah,
Yeah.
I totally get that.
I mean,
Yeah.
I remember back when they won the Super Bowl, and that was right around the same time too. The Tampa Bay Lightning, the hockey team,
Yep.
was going
Yep.
on their run of Stanley Cup wins, and at the same time, and so we were having like championship parades like back to back.
Yeah.
It was just
Yeah.
like, and I think the Rays even was that. I think the Rays went to the World Series that
I
year.
think so. Yeah. Yeah.
So it was just like all three teams in
Wow.
Tampa were hitting it at the right time at the same
Yep.
time, and it was, I mean, it was just amazing to be around and to be in the city at that point.
Yeah, when the cities when their teams are doing well, and I get it, I totally get it, because I remember that year. I remember those few years that Tampa was like, oh, this could be the championship city now, championship
Right? Tampa
city.
Bay.
Tampa,
Tampa
yeah,
Bay.
Tampa Bay, yeah, and
Yeah.
I remember that, and it was like, wow, this is the same kind of here when Eagles went to the Super Bowl,
Mhm.
and then I think that's when
The
Sixers were
Phillies.
actually
Yeah.
decent. Phillies went to the World
Yeah.
Series, and it was just it just felt like, and it's good, like, yes, fans sometimes can get really, especially here, can get really a little. I was just saying they can get a little much a little sometimes, but they're celebrating and having fun, so it's just one of those things. So, but yeah, it's good. Tampa Bay, yeah. So we'll see
Mhm.
let's see. Yeah, Brittany is on. Thanks for tuning in. Said Rachel yesterday, now Stacy today. Oh heck yes.
Oh,
All right,
my
thank you.
favorite.
Yes, yes. Thank you, Brittany, for tuning in. Really appreciate it. And yes, more to come too. So be on the lookout for more incredible women on the show in football and things like that. So but yeah, let's get into some of the nitty gritty of the draft
Right.
season and things like that. And one of the questions I sent you was one of the topics was players you need to draft in your lines, or some players that you are like, I'm trying to get them in every team I can draft, or at least close to it. But any
Yeah.
players that you have your eyes on.
I got a few for you.
Okay.
One is going to be I did some early guys, and then I went and I got a couple late guys for you.
Okay.
So early
All right.
one, I'm going to go with Nico Collins. He's somebody that I want literally
Yeah.
everywhere, and I think you can get him, either at the end of the first or early in the second. I mean, that man was like a top 5 receiver when he was healthy last year.
Yes. Yes, he
Um,
was.
so what was that, a hammy? I think he had a hamstring. That's what
Yeah. Yeah.
so
They kept
long.
lingering. Yep. Yep.
Yeah, so hopefully he doesn't have to deal with that issue this year. But I mean, he was just phenomenal. I took him so many places last year. But I think they're going to really have a rebound year this year. I think CJ Stroud is somebody who's going really late in drafts that you can get at a really good value if you're going to wait on quarterback. I mean, in a standard, 12 team single quarterback league, you probably just get him off waivers. You may not even need to draft him. But, they got a new offensive coordinator there in Houston. I think things are going to be a little bit different for them than they were last season. So I don't think that last season is really an indictment on CJ Stroud and that offense. I think you're going to see them look a lot more like they did his rookie year.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about him. I've got two. I love a good late round tight end.
Mhm.
So I've got two for you. I'm going to talk Brenton Strange from
Mhm.
Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Okay.
Phil. Yep. Yep.
I think he's in such a great position really to now benefit from, you've got a new head coach in Liam Cohen right there. And then, well, honestly, I think that entire offense really benefits from him coming in at head coach. And look, I know you've got Travis Hunter, you've got BTJ there as well. But last season, there were, I want to say, well, let me look at my notes here. He had 4. So he started 8 games last year when Evan Ingram was out.
Yep.
During those games, he had 4 top 10 fantasy finishes.
Mm.
So he's
Yeah.
been out there. He's done it before. I think this is really his tight end 1 job to lose in this offense. They added a few guys like Johnny Munt from the Vikings. Those guys are functioning as blockers at tight end, right? They're not there to take away from him in the offense role. All right. So he's a guy that you can go get who is a tight end 1, and you can get him in the range that a lot of these tight end 2s are going, a lot of backup guys.
Yep.
When people are getting their second tight end or whatever, you can go get Brenton Strange, and he is going to be, unless something happens, he is the tight end 1 there. So I love him. Last but not least, I'm going to go with old man Zach Ertz, right?
Okay. Yeah. Mr. Reliable. Yep.
Exactly. He's not
Yeah.
dead yet, guys. Okay. I
Mhm.
promise you. Washington re-signed him, right? He's got a great connection with Daniels. He's also got that
Yes.
connection with Cliff Kingsbury, so don't forget about that. I don't think it's time for Ben Sinnott to come on yet. I say Sinnott because I have a friend of mine whose last name is spelt that way. I know other
Hmm.
people say this Sinnott. I don't know how he pronounces it, but you
I
guys
think
all know
Senate. I think it is. I think it is, but you might be right.
So Zach Ertz had 8 top 10 fantasy finishes last year. Debo has had some weird injuries of late. I don't think that him coming in is really taking away anything from Zach Ertz at all. Let's see, finished the season as tight end 7 in total fantasy points in PPR formats,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, if you are gonna punt on tight end, if you're gonna say, hey, I'm gonna pass on Brock Bowers, Trey McBride, George Kittle, those guys, I'm gonna wait. There are some guys that I think that are gonna have really tremendous value very late in your draft.
I love it, and I definitely love the Brenton Strange pick because of you said you said you got Travis Hunter,
Mhm.
and you got Brian Thomas, but there's got to be like Trevor Lawrence is if he's going to take that next step again. He's got to look for those tight ends, and he said
Yeah.
new coaching staff and everything too. And he said Brenton Strange. He was fine. I'm looking at. You said he caught 29 passes and 2 touchdowns last 8 games.
Mm-hmm.
That's not bad at all.
Yeah.
And that's going to increase for sure. So I can see them using him in that way. And I love the Zach Ertz, especially like you said, late in drafts when
Yes.
all those premium tight ends are gone. And you're
Mm-hmm.
like, Zach Ertz is still there. Yeah. Yeah. The
Yeah.
connection with Jaden Daniels was really a weapon for him. And he's going to continue to keep using him, especially in the middle of the field. I mean, Zach Ertz got some of the best hands that we've seen at the tight
He's just
end.
so consistent.
Yeah,
He's
it
so
gets open. Yep.
Yep.
It gets open, and I do miss him in Philly,
I
and
thought.
I know it's a long time ago, but I mean he won that first Super Bowl. That was a long time
Mhm.
ago now, and he was Mr. Reliable. He
Yeah.
as long as he was healthy, he was and I know
Mhm.
Dallas Goddard has surpassed him at that time, but he just I mean his hands, he's always had great hands, and always he was always open. It just seemed like every time 7, 8 yards, 10 yards, whatever it was, he was always open. So
Mhm.
now he's got with Jaden Daniels, who that's one of his best weapons and favorite
Right.
weapons. I can see that. So I do like that Zach Ertz pickup as well.
Yeah. Well, and you take away too. I just thought about this too. Like you take away, we got contract issues with Terry McLaurin. I
Yep.
don't think those are going to continue to be an issue, but let's say,
Right.
what does the wide receiver room look like beyond Terry and Debo?
Not
It's not
much.
great. It's
Not
not
much.
great. So, I'm
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
thinking, Zach Ertz, I think, is still going to have like a really, really primary role in that offense.
I do too. I 100% agree. And I'm just looking at the receiving the receiving room. We said Debo, Terry McLaurin,
Matt
Noah
McCaffrey's,
Brown,
yeah,
yeah, Luke McCaffrey. That's not too much.
yeah.
Yeah. So you
They
definitely
lost
gonna
Anthony
have
Brown. They lost
yeah,
their deep threat.
yep,
So,
yeah.
yeah.
I'm looking more Zach Ertz for sure.
Mhm.
Yeah, he'll definitely be one of Jaden Daniels' favorite targets once
Yeah.
again heading into this season. But yeah, I like those picks. I really do. And yeah, so let's go into like that top half. And every year is always different. Sometimes when we hit who's the number one pick, sometimes it's running back heavy. Other times it's like, oh, it's the receivers year this year, and it seemed
Mhm.
like it's the receivers again. Even though the running backs this last season had an incredible year, Bijan and Saquon, and I think you can go either way with those guys too. But it seems like Jamar Chase is the clear cut number one. Do you agree, or do you feel like is it someone? Is it like a Bijan? Is it Saquon? Is it someone else? What are you seeing, or what do you think is Jamar Chase the clear number one pick this season?
So lately in my drafts, I've been seeing Saquon fall a little bit. Like I
Mm.
got him, I was in the Pros versus Joe's FFPC draft the other night. I got him in the fifth, not in the fifth round, I'm sorry, as the fifth pick in
Fifth
the first.
pick, yeah, okay,
So I think Saquon is falling a little bit, yeah, for probably a whole plethora of reasons. But for me, my number one overall is still going to be Chase. You can
yeah,
maybe make an argument for Bijan as well too. I think that's a great pick. If you wanted to take Bijan as your one, I have no problem with that.
right,
I think it's really hard to ignore Chase's numbers and his production last year. And really, this is in any format, whether it's best ball, redraft, PPR, standard, whatever. I don't really care. I think it's still Jamar Chase.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just the Bengals are such a high volume passing offense. That's not going to change this year. And their defense isn't very good either. So there's tons of shootout potential. I mean, you saw that last year with it was definitely the Ravens game. I think there was Joe Burrow, like, oh my gosh, like how many he threw like 1,000 touchdowns last year.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they're going to be
Yeah.
throwing the ball, right? They don't have a
Yep.
spectacular run game. Like I said, and their defense is not great. So,
Yeah.
Burrow's throwing the ball, and more times than not, it's going to go to Jamar Chase.
Yep, it's gonna. Yeah, I had Jamar Chase. It's funny because last season I had Saquon, Jamar Chase,
Oh my god!
Malik Neighbors. This was in my. I think it's a 12. I think it's a 12-team league. 10 team or 12. Yeah, Jamar Chase. He kept falling, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, let me scoop.
Well,
Maybe they were worried about the.
issue with Burrow because
Yeah,
I
yeah,
stayed
it
away
was. Yeah, yeah, it was. It
last
was.
year,
Yeah,
and much to
yeah.
my chagrin now, but I stayed away from them all the entire Cincy offense.
I think that's what it was. I think a lot of, and this is my podcast league that I've been in. I think it's our fifth. This is gonna be our fifth year, sixth year. And Chase, I think I had the ninth. I was at the no, it's a 10-team league, and I was at eighth or ninth pick, somewhere in there. And Chase kept falling. I'm thinking, okay. And then I know there was some contract issues
Yeah.
too. And he said Joe Burrow was injured beginning
Yep.
of the season. But I'm thinking, okay, Chase, he's gonna show up, and he did. Showed up,
Yeah.
and he showed out. So I'm like, oh, just plug him in, and let's roll with it. But now, I believe he is the number one overall pick.
Yeah.
I think there's arguments really except for Bijan, maybe Jahmyr Gibbs
Mhm.
is another one.
Yeah.
Justin Jefferson for
Yep.
sure. But I think it stops there.
Yeah.
And then Saquon, go back to Saquon, like say he's fall. I think people are hesitant because he had such a historic year.
For
And
sure.
yeah, and I think hearing what the Eagles are gonna do, they're gonna probably scale back a little bit.
Mhm.
And he still has some injury history as well.
Yeah.
You have to still look at that. But
Well, and don't
I
forget the
I would
numbers.
yeah, right, right. So I don't want him to get injured at all. So,
I don't want
but
to put that out
as a
there.
fan of the Eagles, but it's just more of I think they're going to scale back because he carried that football. I mean, he carried the football
Oh,
so much,
yeah.
especially after their bye, after they got blitzed by Tampa
Yeah.
Bay every year. Seems like it.
Well, I yeah, and, I mean, I get everyone's like, "Oh, well, regression for
Yeah.
Saquon." Okay. I mean, like, considering the year that he had, of course he's gonna I
Right.
mean,
Yeah.
of course he's probably gonna regress. Like,
Yeah.
obviously, you're
Yeah.
probably not gonna be able to produce at that level 2 years in a row, sure. But, I mean, me personally, I'm like, "Is it enough to make him fall that far?" And then I'm happy to take him. Like, I
Yeah.
was
Me
happy to
too.
see him
Oh yeah.
with his pick.
Yeah.
I
If
was
he's fifth,
sure.
yeah, I'm picking him. Yeah,
Give
for
me
sure.
Saquon, that's fine. Uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
okay.
They're still gonna feed him. They're still
Yeah.
gonna give him as many opportunities, and he's only a couple plays. He's always a play where he can break out 60,
Yeah.
70, 80-yard run, and then
Yeah.
you're thinking, oh, two rushes, and then next thing you know, he's got
Mhm.
430 yards, and you're like, oh yeah, that's one.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, oh, here we go, two long runs, and then he's
Well,
right there. His
yeah,
day's over.
totally, and I just have to think too, and this might be more of a Jalen Hurts thing, but, like, after the rest of the league, we don't need to talk about who spearheaded that, tried to get rid of the tush push. I just feel like the Eagles are probably gonna, out of spite, just, like, cram it down everybody's throats even
Yep.
more this year.
Yep.
So,
Yeah,
get ready,
I
guys.
mean, yeah. Give me Saquon if that's the case.
Yeah,
And like you said, historic year.
yeah,
Even if he falls back a little, I mean, yes, but
right.
how much of regression is going to be?
Is
Oh,
he gonna produce
he got
outside the first round numbers? I don't think so.
yeah,
So,
right. Oh, he
okay.
got instead of 2,000 yards, he got 1,700. Okay,
Oh,
yeah,
no.
that's fine. We'll take that anyway as a top five pick for sure, and everything. So yeah, I'm looking for but I think Jamar is I think he is the clear cut number one. But again, if you say Bijan or Gibbs or Jefferson or Saquon, not gonna argue. I wouldn't argue that either for
I think
sure.
that's all just personal preference at that
Yeah,
point.
yeah. Yep, I agree. 100% agree on that. All right. Well, I got a couple more if I let you go.
Yeah.
Like I said, we could do fantasy football or just life things in general, forever. But gotta talk about your Green Bay Packers
Go Pack,
and a
go.
little bit of go Pack go and and their season coming up.
Yeah.
What's your what's your take, your expectations, what you're seeing? What do you see how the Packers will do in that loaded division of the NFC North?
And if things go well, we're not even going to be able to pick on the Bears anymore. So,
Right, right.
hopefully, gosh, yeah. So I'm excited about Packers football coming up. I think people are criminally undervaluing Jordan Love right now.
Yeah,
You
agree.
can get him for free in drafts. And I think it's because everybody's looking back at his last year. And guys, he was hurt. He was hurt
Yeah,
so much
he
last
was
season.
hurt.
So I don't think that that's necessarily, a great judge of his production and what he's capable of.
Right.
Uh, but at the same time, if people don't want to take him, I'm happy to come in and scoop up and grab him as a second QB later on.
Yeah, yeah, right.
No problem.
Yeah,
You got Josh Jacobs, who's one of the very few remaining bell cows, in the NFL, right? We've got Marshawn Lloyd, we've got Emmanuel Wilson behind him, and I'm really excited about Marshawn Lloyd this year. He kind of, almost like redshirted his rookie season. He
yeah,
the whole year, and and then we got Emmanuel Wilson there, but neither one of those guys, it's not like it's going to be a running back by committee. Like it's Josh Jacobs' job. So
yeah.
if that's what you want in a running back, let me introduce you to Josh Jacobs and his
Yes. Yeah.
now our wide receiver group, oof, okay.
Lots of options.
We
Yeah.
got lots of options. One of the team in itself is one of the youngest in the league, but
Yep.
last year I heard this stat from Mina Kimes and it kind of just made me cringe. But the Packers had the most drops of any NFL offense last year, which is not really what you want to hear from your wide
Right.
receiver. You know what though? It's another year of them being together as a group. We
Yeah.
got Matthew Golden there, so hopefully we can kind of clean up, those drops a little bit this year. But I'm gotta go Reed, Golden, and then you can go down and get Romeo Dubs, Dontavian Wicks. Those guys to me are kind of a flip a coin at that point. And then Christian Watson tore his ACL, so I doubt that he comes back at all this year to be fantasy relevant. If for some reason he does, you can always get him off waivers if you just really want to take
Yeah.
it there. But what I'm most excited about is Tucker Kraft. He's one of my favorite tight ends that you can kind of go in, scoop him up pretty late too. He had some really great numbers last week, and I think he was kind of a waiver wire guy.
Yeah.
We were
Yep.
able to scoop up, and he had 7 touchdowns last season,
Yeah. Yep.
tied for 4th amongst tight ends.
Mhm.
And he had 14.1 yards per reception, which is tied for 6th overall. So I think it was like 9 point something PPR points per game. And most of your tight ends, except for just a handful, weren't scoring over 10 on average
Yeah.
per game. So
It's true.
he's definitely a guy that you can kind of rely on if you're looking for tight end a little bit later too. Now he's more of a mid-round tight end. He's not like your, like Zach Ertz, Martin Strange that we talked about. He's going to go before they do. But you can go get him in like those mid rounds there, and I think he's going to be a great asset to continue with Jordan Love.
Yeah. And I like the Jordan Love call. Like I think you said, he has been slipping. I've been seeing him slipping in drafts, but again, he was a top 5. He was putting up top 5 numbers that those first few games. I mean, he opened last season with 15 touchdowns in the first 5 starts.
Yeah.
I mean, if he stays healthy, those numbers was going to keep climbing and climbing. Matt LaFleur, he knows how to work with quarterbacks, so it's
Exactly.
not Coach LaFleur, so it's not like it's not like he can't, like Jordan Love can't get back to that level. Like you said,
Yeah.
he got injured, and yeah, that second half of the season, yeah, he just wasn't himself because he's coming off some injuries and
That first
everything.
injury, that first game of the season against the Eagles. I mean,
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
I'm
in
not
Brazil.
going to
Yep.
Brazil again. No more Brazil games, guys. No more games.
Yes. Right,
Please.
right. So it's like it's not like he can't. Like we've seen what he's capable of, and how good he can be. So I wouldn't sleep on Jordan Love at all. And with all those receivers, it's just now trying to, as you said, trying to figure out who's the number one option.
Right.
Or yes, it is seem like a receiver by committee,
Yeah.
but you said Golden and
Yeah,
Jaden
Jordan's gonna be our
Reed.
field stretcher. I mean,
Yeah,
he's a fast, speedy guy. It's gonna probably take him a little bit to get acclimated to the NFL. He's a
right,
rookie. That's
right.
usually what happens, and probably see him come on more towards the second half of the season. But I'm a Jaden Reed fan, always have been, since he was drafted, and he's probably going to be my number one receiver for the Packers. But best ball to me is really kind of where you want to take those guys.
Yeah, for sure. And like I said, there'll be you can see where the pecking order will be within those first few weeks of okay, who's the guy that Jordan Love can really count on. And
Yeah.
like I said, it could be Tucker Kraft. I think I will be. He
Mhm.
was a waiver wire. I picked him up as a waiver wire and just kept plugging him in too as
Oh,
another guy that can like I said, scored 7 touchdowns, had over
oh,
700 yards. So yeah, and they can and also the Packers what they did when Jordan Love came back in the lineup, and struggled a little just off injury. They became that run-oriented offense. As you
mhm.
said, they have Josh Jacob, one of the better, upper half running backs
Yeah.
in that tier as well, and they're good. They're just going to continue to keep running the football. We know he can handle workload. He did it
Mhm.
with the Raiders, and now he's doing it with Green Bay.
Yep.
So it's not like he had 1,300 yards, 15 touchdowns,
Mhm.
300 rushes. So I'm sure they'll scale back a little bit again with him, but
Yeah.
why not? You shift, and it's worked. You could shift to a running back type of team, running back type of team. The
Mhm.
Eagles did it, and they ran right through it. They ran right
Yeah.
through to it, and it's no knock on Jordan Love or Jalen Hurts. It's just they said, okay, we have these dynamic backs. Why not utilize them?
Right.
You know. So yeah, so I think yeah, like I said, in this division, tough division, very tough division. Detroit, you said
Mhm.
Chicago looks
Ooh.
like they're gonna improve. Minnesota, so yeah, Green Bay, they're gonna stay.
They got to
See if they
show
can
up.
stay up top. Yeah, yeah.
Can't be complacent.
No, I definitely can't be complacent for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, for sure. All right. Well, last one. I've been asking all my guests this question. As a fantasy football analyst and playing fantasy football for a while now, what makes a good fantasy football owner or fantasy football
Mhm.
manager in your eyes? What makes a good fantasy football manager?
So I've got two things for you. The first one is discipline.
Mm,
Discipline in the draft room. I think you've got to be incredibly disciplined to not get, um, you know, pushed around, not succumb to peer pressure. Maybe there's a early quarterback run, or maybe the room is going really heavy on wide receivers. You can't let that distract you and make you take reach for guys. You've got to be able to like keep it going, keep it focused, make sure that if like, hey, if the room is going to suck up all the wide receivers, then I'm going to take value at running back or tight end or
right.
somewhere else. So I think that's incredibly important, is to just be really disciplined, and that comes in doing a lot of those drafts, just drafting a lot, getting yourself used to being in rooms with different people, and seeing what all everybody else is doing. My second one is, don't forget about the old veteran players. Right? Like,
Yeah.
I get it. The rookies are fun, they're exciting, they're new to the league, and, that's all you've been hearing about since January,
Yeah.
and so, like, sometimes you can kinda get a little bit of a rookie brain rot, and, you'll see in drafts with ADP, all these rookie players going so far ahead of the veterans, and more times than not, we don't have to talk about it like an Ashton Genty. I'm not talking about him. I'm talking
Yeah.
about some of those other guys that you're coming in thinking, drafting these guys as though they are going to come in and take that starting role from that veteran player. A lot of times we forget NFL doesn't work the same way our fantasy drafts do,
Yeah.
right? The head coaches are not just going to come in and give an unproven rookie the starting job over a guy that has shown up and been there and been part of the team every day.
Yep.
That's not how that works. So like those guys have to come in, those starting jobs are earned. And, that's why you don't see a lot of production out of the majority of rookies until the second half of the season, right? Because they've got to
Yeah.
come in, they got to get their reps, they got to get used to a different style of play than they played in college. So calm down on the rookies, everybody. Like, don't forget about your old dusty veterans that are out there just sitting there waiting for you to pick them. Okay, it's
Yep.
like the little older dogs at the at the shelter, right? Like, don't
Yeah.
go there. So that's another thing that I think just like really kind of like makes a difference in being a good fantasy manager, is just that not getting too focused on one set of players.
I love it. I love that discipline. As you said, stick with your game plan
Yeah.
no matter what, because it just you could get thrown off. You said the QB runs going, and you're like, oh, I wanted to get Lamar Jackson, I wanted to get Joe Burrow, I wanted to get Patrick Mahomes. But then you're like, okay, that run ended. If you want to still wait for good quarterbacks like Jordan Loves, Matthew Stafford, you can get those guys later in drafts, and
Mhm.
they're that they might be a tier. Baker Mayfield, you get someone like him who had an unbelievable year last year.
Right.
And I'm sure he slipped late. So if you said, okay, well, I'll just get on a run, y'all got your quarterbacks, I'll just go to the next tier two, and so you can get those type of players, Jared Goff, somebody like that. So yeah, you can
Right.
just. I agree. Stick with the.
Don't panic pick.
Don't panic pick, because as soon as you panic pick, you're like, oh,
Yeah.
I didn't mean to get. I reached for this player. Like I said, if it's someone you want to get them.
Yeah.
There's just if you got your eyes set on that player, that one player, all right, get them. But those don't get off your game plan. And you talk
Right.
about the veterans too. We talked about Zach Ertz.
Yeah.
You got players like Adam Thielen, like who is like,
Mhm.
they're gonna still be looking for those veteran players because they're reliable, and if they're in the lineup, they're going to get a volume and score touchdown and help you with in your points. So yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I really do like that. So yes, so listen to Stacy, and that will make you a good fantasy football manager. And like I said, it's such good advice. Especially if it's like I said, somebody from the beginning, that's a beginner, all the way to a novice or a veteran that's been doing fantasy football for a long time. But things are just things always change and evolve too. So then and it depends on what type of league you're in.
Yeah. Absolutely.
For sure.
Yeah, you
Well,
gotta enjoy Major League.
yeah, right. Yes, yep, for sure. Well, Stacy, it has been always a pleasure catching up with you, and I'm
Hmm.
so grateful to call you a friend and in this
Favorite.
industry. And it's always, like I said, it's always good to talk with you and have you on, and you give us such a great expert analysis, and not just in that, but just in general, just to hang out and chat on the podcast as well. So I really appreciate the time and appreciate you doing this again for sure.
Absolutely, Courtney. Thank you so much. This is always like one of my favorite, times is to come on and chat with you and just catch up. And so I just always appreciate being asked.
Yeah, for sure. And you're gonna you like I said, the door's always open for you to come on, and even if you want to vent about something, it's like I need to get on a podcast just to vent about such and such what the Packers didn't do or what they did. You
Right.
could do you could come on here and it's like, oh, my fantasy team, what's going on? I just want to talk about it somewhere else and everything. But you all, the
Get it
door's
out.
always open. Or if you got a book coming out or something, promote whatever, and the door's always open for you as well.
Thank you.
Yes, yes. Well, you enjoy your trips, and have safe trips, and enjoy the drafts. And we'll be talking, I'm sure, very soon throughout the
Absolutely.
season. And I really appreciate you coming on. And thanks again, and enjoy the football season. Here we go. So can't wait to see what you got in store. But before you go, let everyone know they can follow you and follow the content and the shows, and or follow you just on social media.
Yeah. So I'm at Stacy_Perez 83 on Instagram, X. I'm over on TikTok. I've been doing more stuff on TikTok lately. So I have a little fun thing over there doing little trivia stats every day. I've got my little puppy doing pics. Uh,
Yeah.
all kinds of ridiculous that you can be over on TikTok, but you can find me on Fantasy and Frames, doing the draft show right now, waiver show coming up. You can find me over at Player Profiler doing Fantasy Forecast. That's a fun short that we do over there. And yeah, so and if you're at the expo coming up, please come up and say hi. I love to chat with everybody. And one of my favorite events every year is just going out there and getting to know everyone that all of my internet friends, getting to see them
Yeah.
in person. So please
Yep.
come on up and let's get to know everybody.
Yeah, and then definitely, as you said, the expo is a
Yeah.
good chance to connect, especially with you said with people that you network on the internet
Yeah.
and on social media, and you get to meet them in person. And then you said the expo is it's a great time with a lot of different things, drafts, live drafts, and
Mhm.
they have panels and the expo in itself, and just to connect and chat and just kind of just have a good time
Right.
and talking and things like that. There's parties, there's a lot of different things going
Mhm.
on, and just get together and go out to eat somewhere and chat
Yep.
and have a good time. So yeah, so again, enjoy the expo and enjoy the high stakes draft again. And like I said, best of luck this season. And I
Thank
really
you
appreciate it.
too.
Thank you. All right. Well, I'll talk to you soon. And you have a good rest of the year. And we'll chat real soon.
Yep. Bye, Courtney.
All right.
Thanks.
Bye.